Hey guys, Alex here from the DMs Club on the Titan Bear Gaming YouTube channel. I'm continuing to go through Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and today I'm focusing on the new arcane tradition that we have for the wizard class, War Magic. Just like all the other classes, the first piece of the text here is talking about ways that you can help to embellish the details of your wizard or ground them a little bit better in the world. What kind of details would your wizard have to actually be a wizard in the game? The first detail that the book talks about is your spell book. I like the idea that they're trying to communicate with this section. It's basically saying that because you are a wizard, it kind of makes you a singular creature, a singular class in the game. You're the only one that operates with this concept of having a spell book, a place where all of your magic is written down in your own personal cipher, and it's a thing that has extreme value to you. You're spending most of the game trying to add magic to it and to basically complete this as your personal portfolio of magical ability. You should spend a little bit of time thinking about interesting ways to help make that spell book more cool. Some of the ones that they suggest here are very neat. A tome with pages that are thin sheets of metal, spells etched into them with acid. Cool, pretty specific, but cool. Long straps of leather on which spells are written, wrapped around a staff for ease of transport. Cool, kind of give you this like rolled sheaf of papers. That's kind of neat. A battered tome filled with pictographs that only you can understand. Small stones inscribed with spells and kept in a cloth bag. That one's kind of interesting. A scorched book ravaged by dragonfire with the script of your spells barely visible on its pages. Things like this. Cool things, cool ways to help give the book, the object, a little bit more oomph and a little bit more of a level of interest or intrigue for your character, which I think is important. Your spell book is a really important thing as a wizard. The second section here talks about your ambition. This tries to key off of the idea that if you're going to become a wizard, you're doing so with some kind of other motivation, some kind of grand motivation. Are you trying to be the best wizard? Are you trying to develop new magic? Are you trying to dethrone gods as being the most powerful creatures in the world? What is your motivation? What is the reason why you want to harness all the power of magic that the world has to offer and be its master? Why do you want to do it? Things you should think about. The last topic that it talks about is eccentricity. What are ways that your character is going to be a little bit weird or a little bit crude or a little bit socially dysfunctional in the world to help reflect the fact that you've spent so much of your time researching magic by yourself? It comes up with some interesting ways. Maybe you have a really good memory, but you have no trouble pretending to be absent-minded when it suits your purposes. Your most prized possession is something strange, like a dead worm that you keep inside a potion vial. Or your fashion sense and grooming, or more accurately, the lack thereof, sometimes cause others to assume you are a beggar. Interesting ways to help paint a more vivid picture of your wizard as you walk through the game world. Now, we only have one arcane tradition here in Xanathar's Guide, which is a little surprising considering every other class has 2, 3, or 4. And it is war magic. Now, from a thematic perspective, I like the idea that they're trying to capture of the war wizard. This is somebody that instead of declaring yourself for just one school of magic, like evocation or abjuration, offensive and defensive magic, in short. The war wizard is trying to be the balance of the two or the wielder of both. It's a cool thematic idea. I think people like the idea of having war wizards, wizards that are bred specifically for going into battle and doing offensive and defensive magics to help bolster forces. I think people like the thematic idea. The set of powers we're going to go over, we'll talk about it. I kind of hate the class composition that they came out with for this, though. I'm really interested in the mechanical style that they came up with. I like them exploring these new mechanics. I just kind of despise the way that they've written this down for a class to play. I don't think that I would ever do it, and I really strongly worry about anybody else wanting to do it. Let's go into it. Let's see what I'm talking about. The first thing that you pick up is Arcane Deflection at 2nd level. Okay, unlike the other wizard class or arcane traditions, you don't have a cheapening of penning spells into your spellbook like all the rest of them do. All the other arcane traditions give you a 50% cost reduction to how much gold it costs you to write the magic of that school into your book. So already out the gates, this magic caster, this wizard is spending more money to pen spells in their spellbooks. You're already at a disadvantage relative to the other wizards. This power, Arcane Deflection at 2nd level, is when you are hit by an attack or if you fail a saving throw, so if you've already been struck or you've already failed the saving throw, you can spend a reaction to gain a +2 bonus to your AC, or gain a +4 to your +4 bonus to your saving throw for that attack or saving throw, whatever that spell is. +2 to your AC and +4 to your saving throw could be enough to help save the day. It could be enough to save you, but it may not be. It doesn't explicitly say that when you have to do this, and so it kind of has this implicit agreement between you and your dungeon master that the DM will tell you if the +2 will matter or a +4 will matter. Why it's a +2 versus a +4, I'm hoping, is just a matter of mathematics, but it could also be that they're trying to skew in the saving throws favor. A +2 to your AC is not a lot. Shield as a spell already gives you way better AC for doing that kind of thing, and it still costs your reaction, which is going to be very important for some of the later powers that we get here. Here's the other real issue with Arcane Deflection. When you use this feature, you cannot cast spells other than cantrips until the end of your next turn. So not only does this cost your reaction in order to actually do this power, you're relegating yourself to just doing cantrips. And yes, cantrips are bigger and more powerful in 5th edition, and they scale with your level, and that's all well and good. But you're a wizard who has spell slots for a reason. You're going to want to be using higher level magics to actually do powerful things. And so when you choose to do this, you are saying, I'm going to trade my reaction this turn, which sucks from a later power that we'll cover. And it also says for my next turn, I won't cast any real spell slotted level magic. I'm only going to do cantrips. If I was forced to play this character, I would start looking for the feats and stuff that lets you add additional damage modifiers to your cantrips when you're doing them, just so that when you are relegated to doing cantrips, you can actually do more damage. This is a really tremendously strong cost to even do this power. And let alone the fact that you only get a +2 to your armor class if you're taking a physical shot for it. I like the +4 to a saving throw, that'll go a long way, but only a +2 to your AC doesn't feel like it's going to happen terribly often. I could really understand the extreme cost that you get from this if this automatically caused an attack to fail, or that you automatically save against a saving throw, but you're only going to find so many cases where you're actually using this, and when you do, it comes at a huge cost. So it seems like it's a little bit of a miss to me. Let's go on to the next ones. Also at 2nd level, you pick up Tactical Wit, which is really plain and really simple. You get to add your intelligence modifier as a bonus to your initiative rolls. Cool, that's good. Wizards don't necessarily have dexterity, and so being able to throw your intelligence modifier on there does help the situation. Helps you be able to go first. Cool, okay, that's fine, I can accept that. I'm still mad about the previous one. At 6th level, you pick up Power Surge. Now, Power Surge becomes a new resource that you are managing as a wizard, separate from anything else that wizards have to deal with. You have a number of Power Surges that you can gain and you can spend to produce a interesting effect when you actually use your Power Surge. Here's the details for your Power Surge. You can store a maximum number of Power Surges equal to your intelligence modifier, okay? Whenever you finish a long rest, your number of Power Surges resets to 1, okay? So you're going to start every day with just 1, so you can't carry them over from your previous day. Further, if you end a short rest with no Power Surges, you gain a Power Surge, okay? So you're going to kind of have this Power Surge economy that you're dealing with. Normally, in order to gain them, whenever you successfully end a spell with Dispel Magic, all right, or Counterspell, okay, you gain 1 Power Surge as you steal magic from the spell that you foiled. Cool. I'll remind you that Counterspell is a 3rd level spell, and that is regularly used at a higher level so that you have higher chances of foiling big offensive magics that are coming your way. So in order to do this, you're effectively dumping, at minimum, a 3rd level spell slot into gaining 1 Power Surge. Keep that in mind when we get to what we actually use the Power Surge for. The other piece that's important to understand here is in order to cast Counterspell, you need to use a reaction. You also need to use a reaction if you're going to use this Arcane Deflection lackluster power that you have at 2nd level. So you are already requiring yourself to compete for how you're using your reaction spell slot. I would be trying to get my Power Surge as much as possible, which gives me even less incentive to use my Arcane Deflection power that I already feel is kind of weird, lackluster, and has too high of a cost. Let's continue. What do you do with your Power Surge? Once per turn, 1 time per turn, when you deal damage to a creature or object with a wizard spell, okay, so we're modifying our spell casting to do damage, you can spend 1 Power Surge to deal extra force damage to the target. Okay, so we're adding up a little bit extra damage one time per turn whenever we cast a spell. Sure, okay. The extra damage equals half your wizard level. Great. Just half my wizard level. At 6th level, I do 3 extra points of damage. At 10th level, I do 5 extra points of damage. When I am a world shaper at level 20, I'm doing 10 extra points of damage. I just don't see it as being all that powerful, and it's going to have to spend your power surge to do it. You can only do it one time per turn, and to remind you, in order to generate your power surge here, you had to burn a counter spell, which was going to be at least a 3rd level spell slot. I super don't see the payoff for this thing. I just don't. I like the mechanic that we're trying to work with here. I think that it's a good idea for a mechanic, but I just don't see this thing paying off. I just don't. Let's go through the rest of the powers before I go too far into my harping on this. At 10th level, you pick up durable magic, which is a cool thing. I like this one a lot. While you maintain concentration on any spell, okay, that's good. It's a vulnerable situation to be in. You have a +2 bonus to AC and all saving throws. Great. That's a really awesome one. Why don't we get that one at 2nd level? That one would actually have value early in the game. I like that one a lot. Let's keep going. Deflective Shroud. At 14th level, your Arcane Deflection, which was the power that I mentioned first, where you have to spend your reaction and then not spend any better spells on your next turn, to get +2 to your AC and +4 to your saving throws, right? When you do that, it becomes infused with deadly magic. When you use that feature, you cause magical energy to arc out from you. Up to 3 creatures of your choice that you can see within 60 feet of you each take force damage. Cool. So when you use this defensive bubble thing that costs you a reaction and doesn't let you cast regular spells on your next turn, you lash out to do some damage to enemies around you. Great thematic idea. How much damage does it do? Half your wizard level. Man, here we are with this half your wizard level stuff again. At 10th level, you're going to be doing 5 damage out to somebody else. Okay, this kind of helps to justify the power taking your spell slots from you for the next turn. But you're still only going to be able to get this off every so often. It's only going to be so useful for you, and it still costs you your reaction, so you can't even give yourself the power surge feature that you've got. All of the abilities that we have here, I really like the mechanics that they're trying to embody, that they're trying to produce, but they're just so self-competing. They're just fighting with one another on top of each other. I really feel like we should have some of these should be combined or dropped down to a lower level so that you have a little more oomph from doing your defensive shield thing. And it should be isolated from your power surges. And I'm sure that Wizards, when they were going through this, I'm sure that they did the math in order to balance this out from a numerical perspective. I'm sure that they did, but it just doesn't feel like it's going to be fun to do at the game. Mostly it just feels like you're going to be lucky if you get the situation to actually use the power. And then when you do, all you're doing is getting a piddly half your wizard level in extra damage anytime that you actually do manage to fire off one of these powers. I like the idea from a thematic perspective of being able to focus on your defensive magic in one turn and then focus on your offensive magic on another turn. That's not too bad. But you don't get the benefits in order to actually claim that kind of power ebb. You don't get to justify that kind of power ebb. It would be something very different if Arcane Deflection said that you automatically succeed on your saving throw, or you automatically have an attack miss you. That would be a more worthy exchange as far as I'm concerned, but you don't get that. It's only a lousy +2 to your AC, which is already going to be miserable as a wizard, or a +4 to your saving throw. And since it competes with your power surge for being able to do your counter spells in order to power surge, I just don't see the payoff for this guy. So I'm a little disappointed by the war magic tradition that we have here for the wizard class. I would love to know what everybody else thinks about this, especially if you've already tried using this, and if you can help me justify why this is worthwhile as it's currently penned in the game. Right now, it just seems like something that people would wish to be useful, but isn't, and you're going to be stuck using some of the normal the normal arcane traditions as a wizard. Leave me comments down below. Give me the arguments. I desperately want this to work out, and I'm so disappointed by it. Leave me a comment down below. I'd love to talk to you. You can also come find me over on social media at Titan Bear Gaming. We can have the conversation there. There's a bunch of people that I'm sure would be happy to chime in. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're now done going through the different classes, so congratulations if you've been following along with us. Feel accomplished. We've gone through all the different classes that we have here in Xanathar's Guide. I'm going to keep doing more more videos. There's other sections here that I think are worth individual videos, so keep looking forward to more Xanathar's Guide stuff coming out. And then shortly, I think I'll also get back to doing my dungeon mastery videos that I was doing to help new DMs pick up their craft. So subscribe to the channel so you can see when those things come out, and look forward to those videos. Otherwise, until next time I see you, have more fun, would you? It's good for you.